Welcome back. Excited to be joined by Kennedy Ball. Kennedy Jr. this season has pretty much been everything you probably wanted it to be, but there's been trials and tribulations through the year. It hasn't necessarily been super easy. When you look back at where this team was back a couple months ago to now, what are you most proud of?
I mean, obviously we've been through, like you said, a heck of a season. We had a lot of just unexpected injuries for players that, were expected to play a big role this year, and so that was definitely something, especially in the beginning of the season, that we kind of struggled with, and as the season went on, we kind of learned how to deal with that and learn how to grow from that. So I think that's been something really big that the team has overcame. And then obviously we've had a super tough schedule. We played Duke and Notre Dame and Iowa early on in the season, and so those were definitely big, challenging tests for us. And I think what I'm most proud of this team this year is just how resilient we've been and just how we've never given up. We've always stayed hungry, even in the moments where, it was tough.
I was going to ask about that. You had such a tough schedule at the beginning. Coach Hale said to the media, he's like, okay, this team, they're going to learn from this, and we're going to win the SEC down the line. You go on and you get that accomplished. What did that feel like when you guys are on the field? The time is ticking, it's going down to zero, and you realize that you're SEC champs for the fifth time in 7 years.
I mean, for me, I was kind of at midfield looking over at the coaches huddling and, saying like, oh my gosh, we did it. But yeah, it's a really awesome feeling. Just, getting an award like that and, seeing all of our hard work go into something, that means a lot to the coaches and to, the players. But yeah, that was awesome.
And then, postseason awards come out. 5 of you are all SEC, your first team on all SEC. What does that mean, again, because of everything you guys have gone through, to see the recognition you're getting? Coach Hill, also SEC Coach of the Year. What does that all mean when you kind of take that in?
Yeah, I mean, that's super awesome. Again, we've just been resilient. We've been working really hard this season. And yes, again, it is good to, kind of see those awards come out of that. But at the same time, for me, I'm more so just focused on the team and focused on, today's practice, the next day, SEC tournament. And so, yeah, I do think it's a really awesome, accolade, but I think we need to focus going forward just on, winning SEC tournament and seeing where that gets us seated in the NCAA tournament.
It's a really classic Colby Hale answer right there. He's taught a lot of you guys well, of just like all the awards, everything is cool, but at the end of the day, what matters is, winning the SEC tournament, winning the regular season, and then getting into the postseason. Let's talk about the SEC tournament. That's coming up. You guys are the 1 seed, worked hard, earned that. It'll be in Pensacola next week, I should say.
Yeah.
And now at this point, you've had a couple under your belt. Hasn't necessarily gone your way in the semis and the finals.
Right.
What can you learn from the last couple of SEC tournaments that will change this time around when you get to Pensacola?
For sure. I think, Colby talks about this a lot, but he says as the season goes on, he kind of gets less involved as a coach on the field, if that makes sense. So it's more so us, figuring out problems and, solving, finding solutions on the field. And so I think especially at SEC tournament, I think that's kind of the point in the season where we are just collaborating and, solving, the problems on the field as players. So I think in years past, we've just, we had a loss against Texas a year before, and then 2 years ago we lost to Georgia in the finals. And so, I mean, for me personally, I think it really is just the details that, get you a win or a loss in those types of games, especially considering it's it's a really tough point in the season. Everyone's legs are heavy, there's just, it's a big game, there's a lot on the line. So I think, one of the biggest things I've learned, especially at the tournament, is just taking care of the details. And yeah, that I feel like the details are definitely what leads to the team's success in the tournament.
What's the excitement for you guys to get to go on the road and test and get essentially ready to come back here? And obviously you're probably going to host first or second round of the NCAA tournament. What's the excitement level in the locker room?
I mean, for me personally, I love going to the beach. It's just really awesome to stay with your team and just bond, at the beach. So that's definitely where I'm at. And I think, especially for the new freshmen, they're excited. And, the upperclassmen, the seniors, they're just super excited to have their last go at it at the beach.
Last question I have for you before we let you go, before we go to a quick break. What, over the next couple of weeks, are you looking forward to the most?
Man, like I said, I love the beach, love Pensacola. It's always a fun time. And I do think just like tournament time it's just such a, fun moment to be in. I always have really good memories of just tournaments, SEC tournament, NCAA tournament. And so, yeah, I think the excitement for me would just be going into the SEC tournament and hopefully getting a different outcome this year, one that we've never done for the program. So I think just having the opportunity and, the idea that we could win the SEC tournament is super exciting to me. And then also, just taking it a step further in the NCAA as well, see if we can get to a Final Four and then, national championship. So, yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, I think this place in a couple of weeks is going to be rocking if you come back with an SEC tournament title. A big thanks to you, Kennedy, for joining us. We'll be right back on the other side of the break.